So I'm Dr. Whittaker. I've been a chiropractor for about 30 years. I've um, I've been here with Dr. Joe for about 4 years. So most of the time, during the time that I've been a chiropractor, I have not done a lot of energy work. Um, if it wasn't in a science book, I didn't do it. So I was very conservative. And then over time, I realized that body, mind, and spirit all go together, and so I started getting more into the energy work. And so one of the things I've found that is very helpful for people is the emotion code. So that's why we're teaching this class, help people understand what the emotion code is all about. And so it's something that I really enjoy doing. I'm a certified emotion code practitioner. I also use the body code, although I've never been certified in it, but it's something we use every day. So anyway, let's go through this, and as we go along, if you have questions, let me know. Okay, so in the office here, we look at 3 different aspects of health. The structural, so that's basically what your body's doing. So in other words, your alignment of your spine, that can get messed up very quickly by accidents and so forth. So we deal with a lot of car accidents. Then the chemical nutritional, that's really what you're taking into your body. So everything you're eating and everything you're drinking. And this would include allergies. We work with allergies a lot. And then there's the emotional part of it. So that's the part we're going to be talking about tonight. So this is what we call the triune of health. And it's all tied together by the nervous system. Okay, are you familiar with this statement? Everybody has seen this statement. The mass times the speed of light squared. And so that's a very big number. But what's really interesting to me is the equal sign. That's what's interesting to me. Because this was revolutionary. When Einstein came up with this, Einstein really got the ball rolling as far as quantum physics goes. And so when he said that energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, it was very revolutionary. So basically what he was saying is that matter and energy are essentially the same stuff. That's amazing. And so the way we look at it is that matter is really just another expression of energy. So as we go through this, that's an important concept. It has a lot to do with all of the energy work that we do. So everything is energy. Even physical matter, when you break it down into its components, if you take your body, for instance, and you're made up of all these cells, and then the cells are made out of molecules, and the molecules are made of atoms, and you get down to subatomic particles, and you get down and down and down, and then you realize when you get as far down as you can, it's basically just energy. Even the electron, like they have the proton and neutron, then they have the electron flying around it. They're not really even sure that's really even a particle. It may be just energy. But anyway, it's mainly just energy. So when you get down to it, that's all it is. So in the healing arts, we talk about the energy of life. So qi, also spelled qi, qi is from the Chinese. And so that's this energy of life. We call it life force, spirit, light of Christ. In chiropractic, we call it innate intelligence. So innate intelligence is part of the bigger system of energy called universal intelligence. So all this came from the founders of chiropractic. So even chiropractic itself is a form of energy work. Qigong, it's been around for 5,000 years. This is from China, and it has to do with the manipulation of energy. So they have different kinds of breathing techniques and exercises in order to help move the qi through the body. So this Qigong is actually the precursor of acupuncture and other forms of Chinese energy work, which is now the foundation of a lot of the energy work that we do in the modern world. So let's look at emotions. We're not just talking about a mood. We're not talking about whether you're happy or sad or angry. We're talking about something that's an energy. So emotions are energy, and you could say that every emotion has its own frequency. So every emotion has an energy to it. And so each emotion that we feel, we don't necessarily trap, but usually what we do is we express the emotion, we feel the emotion, we work through it, and we release it. However, sometimes the energy gets stuck. And so that's what we're talking about tonight, is trapped emotions. And so there's a couple of ways that we usually trap these emotions. One is that it's too strong to handle. So you have a major event in your life, and so then you tend to trap the energy of that emotion. Another way we do it is like if it's just something we can't deal with. For instance, I often find a trapped emotion of hatred in people that are trying to be real nice. Because you don't want to hate anybody, that's not Christ-like. So you kind of just stuff it instead of work through it. Or the example I like to give is like, say your dog dies on your wedding day. What are you supposed to feel? You say, oh, sorry, stop the ceremony, I got to grieve here. we don't do that. We just kind of set it aside, okay, I'll take care of that later, and usually we don't. So emotions, we just kind of set it aside. So we do get trapped emotions. And through our lifetime, we get hundreds of trapped emotions. This is not a rare event. This is something we all get. So except in small children and people who don't have any adult-sized mental capacity, except for those people, everybody has trapped emotions. We have lots of trapped emotions. So I wanted to talk about, to understand how emotions play into our health, I wanted to talk about two principles, hypochondria versus psychosomatic illness. Now, if you ever use these terms interchangeably, they're very different. A hypochondriac is somebody who thinks they're sick, but they're not. Now, we all have a little bit of hypochondria in us. You know, if you've ever read the symptoms of a deadly disease, oh, that's me. It's like you read, oh, no, that, another, you read another one, no, I've got this disease too. I'm going to be dying any second here. But hypochondriacs are people basically who just always think they're sick, even though they're not sick. But psychosomatic is very different. Psycho refers to brain, soma refers to body. So a psychosomatic illness means brain to body. So that's very different. It's a very real disease, but it starts with the mind. So psychosomatic illness, this is the official definition. There is a branch of medicine that's called psychosomatic medicine. Notice where I got this from. This is from Tabor's Dictionary, 1977. So I don't know how much longer, I mean how much before that it was, but this has obviously been around for a while, but yet I don't see a whole lot of people dealing with this right now. It's just kind of, yeah, we understand that it's there and we push it aside. So if you've ever gone to the doctor and they can't figure it out what your problem is, so what does he say? What's the answer? It's all where? It's all in your head. Well, it could be. I mean, but that doesn't mean it's not real. It could have started in your mind, but then gone to your body. But unfortunately, that's really not the answer that helps us because, you know, the medical doctors, of course, they can't be wrong and they can't not know. So it must be your fault, right? No, we don't. I never take that approach. Okay, so what they do for psychosomatic illness, these are some of the treatments that they've had: electroconvulsive therapy, psychotropic drugs, hypnosis, and so forth. Most of these are not very pleasant, which is probably why we don't do a whole lot with them right now. And certainly the average medical doctor is not going to be doing anything with this. So there are other ways to deal with these issues. I came across this reference a little while back in Proverbs: a merry heart doeth good like a medicine. Because that's basically what it's, let's look at the positive side of it, that happiness and joy give you health, give you good health. Would you agree? You know, you can see that kind of correlation. Depression, anger, frustration, things like that actually depress our immune system and we're more likely to get sick. But when we're happy, When we're feeling joy, we're naturally more healthy. So how do emotions affect our health? So like I said, we are energetic beings. Just think of yourself as energy. So don't separate out the matter. You are energy. Thoughts and emotions are energy. Therefore, emotions, being an energy, can interfere with your energy. Now, a lot of energy work that we do is some kind of imbalance between your energy and the energy of something else. Like the NAET that we do, the allergy work, is all based on that the energy of a substance is not playing nice with your energy. So we have to reset your energy in relation to that. That's what the NAET is. And so in this case, what we're doing is we're finding where these trapped emotions are, where they're interfering with you, and clearing those. So there needs to be some control of our current emotions, but at least those we're aware of. I mean, you know if you're angry or sad or whatever, you can deal with that. What we're dealing with are things with the emotion code. We're dealing with things that you're not aware of. There may be trapped emotions that you've totally forgotten about, or you just stuffed it years ago. And the thing is, they don't seem to go away. Time does not heal all wounds. They don't just dissipate over time. I'm not sure why that is, but sometimes they do get worse, and sometimes they get added upon. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. So trapped emotions affect us both physically and emotionally. So if we have a trapped emotion that's interfering with a part of our body, then that part of our body is not going to be functioning as well. Whether it's an organ, a muscle, or gland, or whatever, it's going to affect our body. I find that it's very good to use the trapped emotion, clearing trapped emotions with the chiropractic, because it helps people hold their adjustments better, because we've balanced out that area better. So this is the book what we're talking about, the emotion code. So we do have this here. Dr. Nelson was actually here for a book signing back in June, and I'm trying to get him back. He says he will come back, but we just don't have a time yet. So he'll be coming back probably in the next few months, hopefully. So anyway, Dr. Bradley Nelson, he was a chiropractor, and he was doing energy work, and so he came up with this system. And as we're going to see, this system is a very systematic way of asking questions to get to the problems that we need to solve. So the emotion code is actually part of a bigger system called the body code. But this is all we're going to really be talking about tonight. So here's the basic premises that we're working off of with the emotion code. First of all, the subconscious mind stores all this information. Some people have compared the subconscious mind to a tape recorder that's always going. You're always recording all this information, and it never ever forgets. It stores everything that's ever happened to you. I prefer to think of it not like as a tape recorder, more like a big baby that never forgets. Because the subconscious mind is very emotional. It doesn't reason, but it's very emotional. And so that plays into a lot of the work that we do. So we can communicate with the subconscious mind by asking yes or no questions. Now, are any of you psychics? I'm not. Yeah, you can be. I'm not psychic enough to ask open-ended questions. You know, I suppose I could, okay, I got it, okay. I'm not that good. We can be guided a little bit. We do seek for guidance as we're working with people. We seek the spirit. We try to get in tune with you, and so we know what questions to ask. But basically it comes down to yes or no questions. And we can find out the answers to the yes or no questions via muscle testing. And we're going to be demonstrating the kind of muscle testing we use in our office. And so since trapped emotions are energy, they can be released with the magnetic field. And so we use a magnet. So this is the type of magnet that we use. You do not need a magnet like this to do this work. You can use a refrigerator magnet, any kind of magnet will do. And if you don't have any magnet, you can use your fingertips. I've never really tested it to see if it's less effective or anything. Yes, you can use your hand. So your fingertips, your palm of your hand, whatever. You just need to, the main thing is the intention. And so we're going to be going over the technique on this, but remember that the intention is the important part. In fact, as people are learning this, they get so caught up in the technique. I tell them it's 90% intention, 10% technique. So if you do it wrong but you have strong intention, you can still make it work. Okay, so let's talk about some issues with trapped emotions. I want to talk about the heart wall, but first of all, I want to talk about some other issues that can happen. When I first started doing the emotion code, I wasn't so sure about this. It's like, this is kind of like voodoo-ish, you know. I wasn't really sure about it because I was like the science book kind of guy. But like I said, I'd been realizing over time that body, mind, and spirit all go together. And so I had a patient, she was 14 years old, and she'd been sick for several months. In fact, she was so weak and so sick that she couldn't go to school. So she was homebound for months. And so she came in, we started working on her, and through various forms of testing, I figured out that it was her thyroid that was making her so sick. And so I tried different things with adjustments and supplements and so forth. And she got a little bit better, but still not good enough to go to school. So I'd been playing around with the emotion code, and I finally figured out that I finally said, okay, is there a trapped emotion in your thyroid? Yes, I've got a positive response. So then I said, what is the trapped emotion? So I found it was panic. So she had a trapped emotion of panic affecting her thyroid. So we cleared that panic, and within 2 weeks she was back in school. And she's not perfect health yet, but she's way, way better. In fact, she's only 17 and she's back at college back east, doing really, really well. So she's very smart, and so she's one of my best in my first times. I said, okay, now I'm convinced. Yeah, so I've seen this work for a lot of people with different kinds of emotional issues and physical issues, even things like just little aches and pains that just won't go away. I've said, okay, is there trapped emotion there? Yes, I've cleared that trapped emotion, and they feel better. My wife was having spasms in here, you know, like shin splints, but just really painful spasms. So I asked, is there a trapped emotion causing these? And so, yeah, there was. And so we cleared the trapped emotion, and they stopped getting them. She hasn't had them since. So it works great for all these different things. Now, so this is one of the things that we look at with trapped emotions. When you're hurt or afraid, you tend to build a wall around your heart. You want to protect your heart. Now, why is the heart important? Of course, not just pumping blood to keep you alive, but used to be we thought that the heart was the seat of emotions. And then we got smart and found out, oh, this squiggly stuff up in the head is where the emotions are. And so then we said, okay, yeah, the brain has all these emotions, and that is true. But now they're finding, they're kind of going back to the heart and realizing the heart does hold a lot of emotions. And in fact, they're calling the heart the second brain. And so the heart is very powerful in that. So anyway, our subconscious mind wants to protect the heart. And so it builds a wall around the heart. And in our mind, it can be made out of anything. It can be stone or brick or steel or whatever. It can be a micron thick, or it can be 100,000 miles thick. It doesn't matter, just whatever the mind perceives it to be. The reality is it's made out of trapped emotions. And so no matter how thin or how thick it is, I usually find it's usually about 10 to 15 emotions. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but around that amount. And so when you're clearing this, you just have to specify heart wall emotion. So when you work on the heart wall, you have to ask for a heart wall emotion. You have to make that distinction. So the problem with having a heart wall is that it interferes with the relationships, it interferes with your ability to feel joy in life, and it can even make you sick. So we always want to clear the heart wall. I've never found anything good about the heart wall. So we always get rid of the heart wall. Okay, so who wants to be a guinea pig? Lie face down here. Having been a chiropractor for the last 30 years, I'm used to checking leg length. And of course, when you get a positive response to something, yeah, you can come around here where you can see it. When you get a positive response to a question, it's not just the arm, of course, it's the whole body, including the muscles of the pelvis. Okay? So what I want you to see, I want you to be looking at her feet. Okay? So, yeah, those feet. Is there an area of your body that's bothering you right now?
I have 2 herniated discs in my lower back.
In the low back? Okay.
And, the thing that to work is I'm getting a trigger finger and my arm just is killing me up here at night. So.
Okay, we better check that one. Maybe we can fix that. So what I've found is that when you're doing this work, it's always best to be problem focused. So you look at a physical problem or emotional problem, like they're having trouble finding a job, or they're having trouble finding abundance, or anyway, or aches and pains, or something that's trying to heal. So when I first started doing this work, I just asked, do you have a trapped emotion? Well, of course they have a trapped emotion. We all have hundreds of trapped emotions. And our goal is not to get rid of all the trapped emotions. Unfortunately, it's not a very reasonable goal. You know, unless you only have a handful of trapped emotions somehow, you're not going to get there. Even, I've had Dr. Nelson himself on this table, and I found a trapped emotion. So he said, I thought I got rid of all those. And then, no, I found another one.
You always make a new one?
Well, yeah, you do. I found one from his teenagerhood. But I'm going to show you later about how not to be trapped in emotions. Okay, so I'm going to ask about her right forearm. So I first lined up her feet, and so that, now can you see her feet? Can you see her? Okay, so then I ask, is there trapped emotion in your right forearm? Because you see the leg go short and come back. Okay, what happens is the pelvis, it rotates like this, and so the muscles will go in, will change their balance. Yeah, come over here.
What part are you seeing in the shoulder? I'm not
Okay, so I'm looking up here, and so when I ask, is there a trapped emotion in your forearm? See, the left leg went short. Now, every time that's a positive response.
Did you move it?
I always get that question every single time.
Yeah.
Yes, to a certain extent, I'm part of it. I tried to check it like this. Is there trapped emotion in your forearm? Nothing.
Right.
So am I part of it? Yes. Am I consciously moving it? No. So, is there trapped emotion in your right ear? No. Trapped emotion in your low back? Yes. See? Okay, so doesn't matter which leg. And I've asked Dr. Nelson, I said, why do I see one will go short and then the other one will go short? He says, yeah, I've noticed that too. He says, I've never really figured out why. It really doesn't seem to matter. It's just a change. So when you see Dr. Nelson in seminars, things like that, he'll be doing this on people. But this is how he used to do it. I asked him, he did it himself this way in practice. Okay, so, now's the time for the handout. The list. You all need a list.
Okay, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking at her feet, and are you saying short like
Short this way.
from here to there?
No, I'm looking like at a common place on her foot, on her shoe, and I saw it move. This shoe moved this way, and the other one, it moved like this.
Like almost like this. So
Yeah.
instead of like that.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that like when you're looking at it like this is obviously shorter than this.
Okay.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's just as if there's a change this way.
When he asks the question.
Yeah. Okay, so, all right, so this is, so you each have a chart now. So I'm going to show you how we go through this. Okay, so now, you're all familiar with the game 20 questions? You go from the general to the specific. So first I asked, is there a trapped emotion in that spot? And I got a positive response. So first of all, you want to find out, is there an emotion that we need to find? Okay, then we're going to ask which column it's in. Okay, is it in column A, is it in column B? Okay, so something in column B. All right. Is it in an odd row or is it an even row? Is it even row? Is it B2, B4, B6? It's in B4. Okay, so this grid system is a way to narrow it down. So we're looking at B4. Is it depression, frustration, indecisiveness, panic? Take it for granted. So what was it? Panic. There was panic. Now, do we have to know what the panic was about? No, we don't. But sometimes it helps them to put it into perspective. So I can ask when it came in. Was it age 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay, so around the age of 36, give or take a year, there's something happened that caused panic. That could have been it. Now, it's not important that people remember what it's about, but we just have to identify, in order to get rid of it, we have to identify it. So now we take this magnet, and we're going to be using the governing meridian. Now in acupuncture, the governing meridian goes over the top of the head and down the spine. Okay? So we're using that to communicate with the energy of her body. So now we've identified it. So we focus on this panic.
Do you have to ask to release it first?
No.
You don't.
She came to release it. And so typically I don't ask.
Okay.
Now we'll have to find out if we did do it afterward. Okay, so let's get rid of panic. Guess I should have done something with his wire. Okay. Okay, so now we come back. Now we just ask very specifically, is there panic in the forearm? Nothing. So we got rid of the panic. And sometimes they'll feel immediate relief.
My
So.
arm doesn't hit, but my trigger finger is worse, actually.
Okay.
Because my hand's down.
Yeah. Okay.
So it says you can do this on your own. How do you?
Okay, you can
I
come
can't
on
do
up.
that.
You can come on up.
Use the magnet on your own back.
Okay. Remember, the governing meridian goes over the top of the head and down the spine, and so you don't have to use the whole thing. Like I didn't do it on her head, but if you're doing it on yourself, then you can do it like this. Okay? Or like I say, any other magnet, or just your fingertips, or whatever. Okay?
Okay.
So now, have you guys seen Dr. Joe's muscle testing video that he has online? He has. If you haven't, make sure you go to Dr. Joe's website and look at the one that he has online about muscle testing. It's ohanachiropractor.com. And so there are various ways that you can test yourself on these. Now, the easiest way that you can test all kinds of things is the sway test. Okay, so usually a positive response, you sway forward. The negative response, you sway back. So you can learn that. That's the easiest way to learn. It's the slowest way to do it, but you can do that. So there are other ways to do it. There's the ring test to see, okay, this is a positive, this is a negative, okay, positive, negative. My favorite is this one. So this is like, almost like I'm pushing down on my arm. Okay, so like little arm there as I'm pushing down on it. Now, yeah, like that. Okay, now, this is not easy to learn. If you read the book, he almost makes it sound simple, and that's not true. These are tricky to learn because there's such a slight difference between a positive and negative. Even still to this day, before I test myself, I can say, my name is Don, my name is George, my name is Don. I fine tune it. And that's what you can do is, when you're learning how to test yourself, you start with known positives and known negatives, and you test it over and over again until you feel the difference between the positive and the negative. Okay, whatever method you're using, you have to practice that. Okay, so are there any questions about how we found these trapped emotions?
You kind of flew through like column A, column B, and it's like, how,
Right.
how
So
do you know, like,
so first thing you ask is there a trapped emotion in the
Right.
particular area? Then you ask which column it's in, column A or B.
in your body,
And you're testing the B.
Yeah, so I got I didn't get a positive response on the A, but I got a positive response on the B. Okay, so I knew it was in column B. Then you ask, is it an odd row or an even row? Again, you're just narrowing it down.
How did she ask, because how does the body know all this stuff if you're
yeah,
not
that's
saying
what
it
my,
to it?
yeah, I'm like,
How does the body know what's on the chart?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And really, and I was doing it out loud. Normally I ask silently. Like I said, I'm not psychic, but the subconscious mind reaches beyond itself. I don't know how the subconscious mind knows what's on that chart, but it does.
It has to do with attention too.
Right, and the subconscious mind knows what I'm asking it, even if I'm not asking out loud. In fact, sometimes I prefer not to ask out loud because if I'm asking out loud, they're consciously searching for an answer. And the answer isn't up here, it's in the subconscious mind. So
Oh.
that was one of the hardest things for me to get past.
Yeah.
Like, how does the subconscious mind know what's on that chart? I've got the chart over here on the wall, and they can't even see it, and so how do they even know what it is?
Okay, that threw me for a loop.
That's how the subconscious mind works. All I know is it works. To a certain extent, yeah, you can say that it is.